So I request everybody to mute their mics. And this program is going to be live streamed and posted in the YouTube. So request everybody to mute the mics. Now I take the privilege to welcome World Congress of Psychologists President, Professor B.G. Reddy sir. I also welcome Professor Subhashini ma'am, General Secretary of WCOP. I'm happy to invite Professor V. Suresh sir from Annamalai University. He is the Treasurer of World Congress of Psychologists. I also welcome today's speakers, Professor B. Rangaya from Department of Applied Psychology, Pondicherry University, and also the other speaker, Dr. Dinesh Chabra, Assistant Professor, Department of Psychology, Delhi University. I take the privilege of welcoming EC members and also core committee members of World Congress of Psychologists. I finally welcome all the professors, participants, students for this 7th webinar. And World Congress of Psychologists has started with a motto of train yourself and train others. So let us all participate in this session actively. Thank you so much. Now I hand over the mic to Dr. Sandhya.
Thank you, Anupama. Good evening, everyone. Myself, Dr. Sandhya, Professor, Nittay School of Management, Bangalore, on behalf of World Congress of Psychologists, feel it an honor to introduce our beloved Professor B. Govinda Reddy sir, President, World Congress of Psychologists, Sri Venkateswara University, Andhra Pradesh. Professor B.G. Reddy completed his PG and PhD from the Department of Psychology at Sri Venkateswara University, Andhra Pradesh. He joined as lecturer in 1985, promoted as reader and professor of psychology in the same university. Professor B.G. Reddy held the position of director twice in the university. He served in the same university for more than 30 years and taught B.Ed, M.Ed and MSc psychology students. He guided 17 PhDs and 18 MPhil students. He has written 14 psychology textbooks to the Telugu Academy, Hyderabad. He also published more than 60 research articles in different journals. He is the founder general secretary of the Indian Academy of Psychologists, founder president of Inspire Professional Psychologist Society of India, founder president of Superannuated Psychologist Society of India, founder honorary president of Unemployed Psychologist Society of India, and the founder president of World Congress of Psychologists. On the above 4 psychological associations, many workshops, national and international conferences were organized. In 2020 alone, more than 35 national webinars were organized. Professor B.G. Reddy personally organized more than 55 physical awareness programs in schools, colleges, and universities. As a psychologist and as a lawyer, he extended his services of conducting counseling services to more than 1,500 families. With this brief introduction of Professor B.G. Reddy sir, I now kindly request sir to give away the opening presidential remarks.
Sir, unmute yourself, please.
Mike.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Sandhya, for your nice introduction of me. And here I welcome today's speakers, Professor B. Rangaya, Professor Pondicherry University, and another eminent speaker is with us, Dinesh Chopra from Department of Psychology, Delhi University, and senior professors like Professor Krishnamurthy and other core committee members and executive committee members of WCOP and today's coordinators and finally the today's beloved participants. Yeah, see today's, as you all know that today's topic is online examinations before pandemic and during pandemic. This is really a quite interesting topic. Now, during this pandemic, now all the educational institutions are bitterly experiencing with this type of problem. And every day we are observing either at the central level or at a government, state government level, a big fight is also going on whether to conduct the exams or not to conduct the exams or to promote the students without any conduction of exams. So this is a burning problem, as we all know. Here, coming to there are two types of education. One is offline education and another one is online education. As you all know that offline education is nothing but physical presence of both teachers as well as students. The only advantages are many, but here coming to one of the best advantages as far as this offline education is concerned, here both the teachers as well as the students used to participate in a day-to-day life situation, and there is a process of just starting of the school and ending of the school and break with interval and lunch breaks, everything. There is through this process a kind of time management is also being developed among the students as well as the teachers. Next, coming to this offline education, it is a quite traditional one. Here in this traditional type of education, here particularly the student is to develop just all kinds of 4 types of adjustments. One is physical adjustment, emotional adjustment, mental adjustment, and social adjustment too. And in turn, before the student leaves the 10th class, and we can expect the objective of that school should be fulfilled. That is, the student will attain the total personality development. So in turn, if he goes to the higher education and once he enters into the into his life also, and these developments once he acquired and experienced at the school level or at the home level or at the college level, it really helps the student a lot. And we can say the student has achieved totally the total personality development through this offline education system. Whereas coming to this online education system, we are just we don't have that experiences as the student experiences and the offline education. Here in the online education, and no physical presence between the student and the teachers, and only through net, only like this, they can face each other and they can talk each other. But at the same time, chances are a little bit remote also. But here we can't expect the better performance in their lifestyle, better performance in the, if at all they entering into the jobs also. That is the main drawback as far as this online education is concerned. Right, coming to the examinations, offline education examination and online education examination. Here offline examination is a traditional one. You see here a laborious process. This offline education examination is a laborious process. It involves so much of manpower. It also involves so much of money power also. See, when I was a director in distance education, Sri Venkateswara University, I had a bitter experience as far as this conduction of examinations way back to 2008. I was the director of distance education, and then we were having from Kanyakumari to Kashmir through distance mode. All study centers we have given. You can imagine the thousands, some more than lakhs of students we are supposed to conduct the examination through offline only. You can imagine the labor involved in conducting of the examination. You see, we have to set the question paper and keep it in a safe side. And again, before conduction of the examination, we should send the question papers to be reached to the centers to physically. And again, we should appoint chief superintendent invigilators. And again, soon after the exams are over, the bundles are being kept in that particular college. And again, collecting back to the center of Tirupati throughout India, it becomes a laborious process, but at the same time, abnormal delay in announcement of results as far as this offline examination is concerned. Whereas coming to this online examination, here we can save a lot of money. Here this online exams are otherwise called as computer-based test, which are highly beneficial to the organizers too. Moreover, this online exam, it is quite safe and reliable mode of examination, and here for the organizers, no risk at all. And
You went on mute, sir, again. You are on mute again.
Sorry. So much of energy, so much of money, so much of logistic, all these labors have been just reduced as far as this online system of conducting the examinations. Here, offline test is being performed and by a single individual. Here, question papers are there, examination answer papers are there. This is also a dirtiest job. Whereas coming to this online, it can be conducted in a single hour throughout India or throughout the world also. That facility is there as far as these online exams are concerned. So with this simple remarks, now here in our midst, an eminent speaker, Professor B. Rangaya is with us, and our beloved friend, Dr. Dinesh Chhabra from Delhi University is with us. Now, I am handovering the mic to our student, Dr. Sandhya. Sandhya, please.
Thank you, sir. So now, on behalf of World Congress of Psychologists, I take it a privilege to welcome and introduce the speaker for today's session, Professor B. Rangaya, Department of Applied Psychology, Pondicherry University, Pondicherry. Professor B. Rangaya completed his PG in psychology and MPhil from Bangalore University, along with a PhD from Mysore University. He worked as a lecturer, Maharaja's College, Mysore. Professor B. Rangaya joined as reader in the Department of Applied Psychology, Pondicherry University, Pondicherry. Currently, he is continuing as professor in the same university. He held different positions in the university and outside the university. He has membership in different professional bodies, and some of the awards he received are Vishwanathan Best Paper Award 2010, School Psychology Services Award in 2015, Psychometric Educational Services Award 2012, Rashtra Satya Sthai Ugadi Puraskar Award in 2013. He also held different administrative positions. He has conducted more than 50 conferences and attended more than 50 conferences as well, and published more than 20 research articles in reputed journals. He wrote 3 books, guided PhD students, and has completed 2 research projects successfully. Now, on behalf of World Congress of Psychologists, I request Professor B. Rangaya, sir, to speak on today's topic, online exams before pandemic.
Yeah, thank you very much. So, distinguished professors, Govind Reddy Garu, President WCOP, and Professor R. Subhashini, the General Secretary WCOP, and Professor Krishnamurthy, our friend, and our beloved Professor V. Suresh, and EC members and core committee members of WCOP. My fellow presenter, Professor Dinesh Chabra, Delhi University, and Anupama Gutin. And I know there are many professors are there in this program now. So all the professors and friends, students, ladies and gentlemen.
Professor
And at the
Rangai garu,
outset,
excuse me,
sir?
Professor Rangai garu, please
Sir.
unmute your video. Because it is going to be, please, okay. Go ahead,
Yeah.
go ahead. Now it is
Yeah.
okay.
So at the outset, I am very thankful to Professor Govind Reddy garu for inviting me to this talk, and all your core committee members and EC members, WCOP. And I also like the motto of WCOP, that is train yourself and train others. And in fact, that is very apt for psychologists. So I really appreciate all the brains behind this whole thing. And friends, today we have this topic. I feel that it's very apt topic actually. That examinations before pandemic and during pandemic, the way exams are conducted, and what is it about? See, recently, lot of jokes have been circulating in WhatsApps. So recently there was one joke. A fellow goes to an interview, and there the interviewers ask him a question. Can you explain Newton's third law? And he's supposed to be a science student, and he says that I am not a student of law. I'm a student of science. So this kind of jokes actually made me think what exactly is happening. So this mockery of the present system, particularly the present system of teaching and evaluation, assessment, is being made a joke. But when you look at largely, this may not be true actually. This may not hold good. See, when pandemic started because of Corona, when government of India announced lockdown, so we had to do an alternative arrangements for teaching as well as for assessment. And of course, it was also rightly pointed out and rightly done, because we had to maintain the social distance and also wear mask and maintain hygiene, hand wash and other things. So therefore, it is important that we maintain our health and also continue with our day-to-day activities or even our progress in our life. So one of that is our education. And of course, when you have education, examination is the integral part of education system, and the UGC has a policy that examination is a very, very important milestone in the process of education. So therefore, you cannot avoid examinations. But of course, now, what is it actually? What is this examination? So number one, as Professor Reddy garu was telling in his introductory remarks, that so we had a lot of hardships when we were conducting offline examinations, physical examinations. I mean offline examinations where students come and take paper and write their examinations, because a lot of process is involved. Now UGC has given us a lot of flexibility now for online examinations. And I feel that, so the present world, we have a lot of technological advancements in present world where we need to really take advantage of these technological advancements. So there is a saying that if we are not ready for change, change will change us. If we don't change, change will change us. So that is what has happened now, probably what I feel. See, now this whole issue is attitudinal issue, according to me. So we were not yet ready to transfer ourselves to technological usage of teaching, classroom teachings, as well as the examination pattern. Of course, if you look at the education, the way it has been evolving of late, I think UGC was on the right track by creating MOOCs courses or Swayam courses, where these, education actually takes place in the online mode only. So I think in the process of this, and pandemic has hurried us to adapt ourselves to technological advancements, to the changes that the regulatory agencies were trying to bring in. So therefore, this whole issue is attitudinal issue. Friends, one thing I very clearly observe whenever I take classes, online classes, or whenever I conduct examinations, one very important thing I observe. There is no difference in the behavior of the students to offline and online. Those who were interested in the offline classes, only the same students are interested in the online classes also. And even performance also reflects in the way they express their viewpoints when they write the answers for questions. So therefore, the whole issue has become an attitudinal issue where you have to turn your attitudes. Attitude is simply pre-positioning of ourselves. So probably we had pre-positioning of ourselves for offline classes or examinations. See, now these attitudinal issues are there from both the sides, or maybe from all the stakeholders, from teacher side, from student side, from parent side, and even from the public side. So only we have to address these, attitudinal issues, and probably slowly we will also come to accept the new norm, because the corona is going to become a new norm according to many scientists. So therefore, even this online classes and online examinations also might become the new norm or order of the day, because of course we had online examinations already for many competitive examinations and for many examinations. Now, of course, this is coming from school level itself up to university level. So therefore, we have a lot of flexibility, and there are also a lot of tools for conduction of examination. See, in the online examination, only one thing bothers a lot, especially for teachers. That is the controlling of the whole process of examination, because we are not in a position to do invigilation on the way students are writing their examination, because most of the time students do not switch on the cameras. So they keep their cameras off. So therefore, you do not know what exactly is happening.
Yeah.
Of course, students are also smart. They are taking advantage of the situation.
Yes.
It's nothing wrong, because that is how the world actually, works. So when there is chance for people to take advantage, they take. But only one thing that bothers here is the controlling the whole, when the examination process is going on. But of course, for that, lot of e-proctoring tools are available online. But unfortunately, government universities may not be in a position right now to afford those e-proctoring tools for conduction of examination. And that's the only thing, because the practicality has to be looked at. And I definitely agree with Professor B.G. Reddy Garu when he said the advantages of online examinations, where you can save a lot of money, paper, time, efforts. So we can definitely save a lot of things. Now, for example, you see this presentation itself. It is so nice that We all are, in our own places, wherever you are. I am also at a different place where actually I came somewhere, then I am actually talking. Now it is like all of us are gathered together and we have an effective session where we are discussing on the examination and the issues related to that. So there are, of course, practical difficulties are there for some of the subjects. If you take, for example, for us psychology students, one of the important issue for examination is experimental classes, practicum classes. Because to teach also it's difficult, and to even take examinations also it is difficult for practical classes. But I'm sure that slowly we will definitely evolve, because now we have online experimentations, we have software, we can actually develop making use of ePrime and other softwares, our experimentation. So I think slowly teachers also will get to learn. Particularly for psychologists, they say that R language is very important along with Python language, where we can develop our experimentations also. I think slowly we will also equip ourselves to the present trends, because I have seen many teachers actually initially they were struggling. Last year when lockdown was there, many teachers were struggling even to take online classes, and some teachers even used to postpone, thinking that very soon pandemic will be over and we will start taking classes. But later on, slowly, they had to adapt themselves for the technological usage. And I think they're doing very well. I mean, fairly well they're doing. So therefore, slow and steady, we will also learn. So except this, practical classes, conduction, as well as taking examinations, I think for psychology students, fairly it is going on well. Of course, if you talk in general, if you take medical examinations or, examinations for engineering classes, a lot of studies are also coming out now, particularly because when I Googled today morning to find out whether there are any studies available, I saw that recently there was one study, published by El Salem and others on how, medical students are stressful in attending online examinations. So maybe because what happens is when students are at home, they may not really focus full time on their education, because nowadays we have a lot of entertainment channels, Netflix is there, and there are many other channels are there. So students, most probably they'll be busy doing, watching this online channels. So therefore they might not be actually focusing so much on the education. But slowly and steadily, if this continues, online examinations, definitely students will also start, focusing a lot on these issues. So though in the beginning stage, some students experience stress, as some teachers also experience stress, but slowly and steadily, change will change them if we are not ready to change. So with this, and we were also evolving the whole system in India, particularly education system, UGC, central universities and state universities, they were actually evolving a system where you, now it is mandatory to take MOOCs courses and SWAYAM courses. And all these MOOC courses and SWAYAM courses are online courses only. And therefore, this is something to be looked at positively and not negatively. And maybe slowly, if this becomes a new norm, so slowly we will also start adapting. But one very important thing here, what I think might happen is, so today in our society, we may not have a lot of what I observe, it is not, it's my personal opinion. So that honesty is missing in society. Perhaps online examinations might be, questioning that honesty among both the teachers as well as students. So probably slowly, honesty also will come back among students when they take the examination, because there is nobody to look at, manipulate them, and they will also start, they have to answer their conscience. So therefore, that also is possible now. So therefore, overall, what I feel here is online examination now compared to offline examinations, now we are facing little bit of, kind of stress, but slowly and steadily, I think we will adapt to the new norm. So I think with this, I'll conclude that if we do not change to the change will definitely change us. So thank you very much for giving me an opportunity. Thank you all. One and all.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your insightful, thoughts on change and the need of the hour. Now, on behalf of World Congress of Psychologists, I welcome and invite, and introduce Dr. Dinesh Chabra. Dr. Dinesh Chabra is currently working as an assistant professor at the Department of Psychology, North Campus, Delhi University. Professor Dinesh Chabra was a postdoctoral fellow and worked as an assistant professor at the University of Virginia for 2 years. Dr. Chabra worked as research fellow and postdoctoral fellow at DRDO Ministry of Defense. He was awarded Raman Fellowship twice for postdoctoral research at USA. He completed more than 12 years of teaching and research experience. He has published 10 research papers in distinguished journals and attended more than 15 national and international conferences and presented papers at the reputed organizations. So now I request Dr. Dinesh to speak on the present topic, online exams during pandemic.
Okay, good evening to all. Thank you, Dr. Sandhya, for introducing me, and I would like to thank Dr. Professor B.G. Reddy, President, World Congress of Psychologists, for inviting me at this forum to deliver a talk on online examinations. Thankful to other EC members, core members of the association, those who are working really hard to organize these activities on a regular basis. And I know that this is the 7th program that was explained initially. So really appreciate these efforts, and thank you, Professor Rangaya, for your wonderful speech. And thank you, Professor Reddy, for giving the kind opening remark. So I will primarily attempt to do 2-3 things. One, I would like to give you some historical context that where it started actually, what was it that bring us to the online education and online examination. And then I'll share some thoughts on what is the current status, what we are experiencing now, and then what is the future roadmap or a brief outline of what we can do for the students as of now. So when Professor B.G. Reddy last week asked me to deliver a talk on this, then I thought that these examinations and all that, we are all the time talking about the process of it, how to organize it as a faculty member, what is the best method for assessment. So we are evolving these methods. But when Professor Reddy asked me to give a talk on this forum, and I thought it that to give it an academic color, I must look upon some research as well, because now this is not a kind of forum through which we are discussing that how to organize the exams, but it is an academic forum and more of a forum of psychologists. So I should discuss some thoughts on that aspect as well. So just to give a historical context, we all know that globally, all higher education institutions, some partially and some fully, they closed their campuses when COVID-19 spread was there. So first thing that has happened, they closed, all of the institutions closed their campuses due to this COVID-19. And this actually caused massive disruption in teaching and learning. And as Professor Rangaya was saying initially, imagine that after 23rd March last year, we have no idea that how to move forward. We were totally in a blank state. What to do now? So then universities and institutions, they start sending us the email. Okay, these are few platforms that you could use. So this is how this all started. And during the early stage of pandemic, the nature of virus was also unknown. So universities decided that they closed in-person contacts and closed their campuses completely. And this happened throughout the world. Take an example of any US university, Indian university, Australia, Ireland, take an example of any country. And then when we started with online teaching, then again, another problem arises that we have to cancel the online exam, the physical examination as well. So now universities start thinking upon, institutions start pondering upon that. Now what about the examinations? Okay, teaching is now going on, how to deal with the examination process. Then we all are waiting for the UGC guidelines, what comes from UGC. So basically, the process is first these classroom instructions were replaced by remote teaching, or you can say the online teaching. So the shift was important because ultimately all of the education institutions throughout the world, they wanted that the students should progress in their studies. So that was the ultimate focus initially. So students should not stop. Imagine a time if this pandemic would have happened 7-10 years back, then what would be the state? We don't have that kind of resources, internet facility, even that time. So we were totally in blank state. Imagine, and all of the students and faculty members just at their home and nothing is happening. So we were lucky enough that we were having at least internet and some basic tools that we could start with the online teaching. So, and similarly, as this online classroom was, physical classroom were replaced by online teaching, similarly, physical examination were also replaced by online examination. Electronic exams, you can say, or e-exams are also a terminology used for it. So these e-exams were introduced as an effective tool, effective mode of assessment. And I would say that when these e-exams were adopted, many education institutions, this is an example of India itself, many education institutions remained flexible in it. Means they devised a more flexible approach, which is more helpful to the students, or they may remain little less stressed in this setup, while some adopted a very strict approach. Without naming the university, I tell you, so they made kind of arrangements that you have to open turn on the cameras, and invigilation. First invigilator would be there observing 8 students on the cameras. You can't speak to anyone. You can't even turn your head or mouth, or you can't, means nothing you can do. You can just sit in idle in front of camera and attempt your examination. So that kind of approach was also adopted, which I would say was a more strict approach. But however, we were also discussing initially whether exams should happen or they should not happen. But I would say that examinations are a critical process of any education system, because it is also the duty of the institution to provide students with accurate grades. If I'm giving like first division to or 70% to all of the students, then that is not accurate. So to distinguish between the student on the basis of the performance, that is also a duty of the examination institution system. And Professor Rangaiah was saying that initially UGC also cleared that cancelling an exam is simply not an option. So we have to have organize those examinations. And if you analyze it psychologically, and which is happening currently now as well, academic evaluation is a very important milestone in any education system. And now why it is important, I'll just provide 2-3 points which are more psychological in nature. Because the performance in examination actually gives a confidence. It gives a satisfaction to the students. So they have a chance to reflect their competence. They can show their best performance. And also, if any students are joining here, it is required a credibility of the system. Examination system is also important. If Indian universities start distributing the degrees to all of the students due to the pandemic with no examination at all, imagine what is the global acceptability of our Indian universities. So for global acceptability as well, a credible examination system is also required. And just to add to it with the recent thing, initially, you know that students went to the Supreme Court to cancel the CBSE 12th examination this year, and then later on, based on the current situation, Supreme Court and even government take initiative to cancel those examinations. But later they devised a criteria that how those students will be evaluated. So what happened in this process? Again, some students went to the Supreme Court that we are not happy with this criteria. So that's the point. So basically, if you are not evaluated, ultimately you will not remain satisfied. So and you will not have the confidence. So both the situations, students were unhappy. First, they were unhappy if the exams are organized, and then if later on the exams were cancelled, then they were unhappy with the process of or the scheme that CBSE devised to evaluate them. Then again, you know that those physical examinations will also go if a student want to appear for the physical examination if they are not satisfied with their performance. So now they are two playing field. First is you are evaluated on the basis of certain criteria, and then you have the option of taking examinations. So that's the situation. So students are primarily troubled with both the situations. Now, I'm not saying that e-exams are good enough or they are bad enough, but taking these examinations, there are many challenges for students. I know that initially institutions just focused on organizing those examinations, but now institution can also take cognizance of what is happening to the students, and we have evolved a little much in this process now. Students also have certain challenges. Some of them are technical challenges, and that is the number one challenge that threaten the student. Technical challenges in terms of device, in terms of internet connectivity, in terms of other technical issues. So I'll not go in those details because that is not my domain. So I'll try to relate it to some of the psychological process. And also, it is worth mentioning that most online exams were designed to assess theoretical material, theoretical knowledge. Whatever is happening in these examinations, as Professor Rangaiah was also saying, the exams which are like psychology, our own discipline, we don't have a way to assess their practicum, or even the more skill-based courses like engineering or the medical students. So there is a big trouble with them. So initially we started only assessing their theoretical knowledge, but additional challenge was there to assess or some disturbance is coming. I think someone is on mute. Yeah, another challenge was to find out some ways to assess their practical knowledge and skills. So ultimately, some students you have seen that are good in theory, some students are good in more practicals and skill-based knowledge. So all of it combines and makes a student, and that is the purpose of learning itself. So worries were raised by, and another important challenge, this is based on researches that I am sharing with you. So when we talk of students are stressful in the examination process, especially due to the online examination, yes, that is very right, because that stress was not only coming from the online examination, but worries were coming from the students regarding their preparedness as qualified professionals. Suppose those who are studying engineering, they have not attended college for last 2 years or 1.5 years. Those who are in psychology students, we have not seen, like the batch which is in second semester now, we have not seen them till today. So now they are also worried that examination stress is coming from that aspect as well, because they believe that they are not prepared as a qualified professional now. If I give an example of his specialization, which is in psychology, clinical psychology, I think you all are aware of it as well. So they nowadays, our students say that we have a lack of clinical exposure because we can't go to the hospitals, we can't meet the patients, we can't see them, so we can't see what kind of therapeutic process is their assessment. So they don't have an understanding of assessing those clinical skills with the patient. That has also increased stress. So it is not the online examination that is causing a stress to the patient, but overall online teaching combined with online examination. So all of these factors are basically influencing, and they are influencing the future readiness. So when it comes to the exam after the semester, which is largely we are preparing them for future. So when it comes to the examination, so they are not ready to take those examination, or they are not ready to pass out or go in the field as a competent mental health professional, or a health or a professional if it is for other field. If I give an example of psychology, our clinical psychology students are very much anxious about these issues. So that is the process. Now I find out some of the important factors that contribute to the stress during this online examination. One that I found is the topmost cause is the exam duration. So this is what I'm sharing, which have been reported in research. Number one factor is the exam duration. So students are more stressed about the exam duration. Imagine a situation, some universities, those who are going for the MCQs, those multiple choice questions, what they did that you will only see an MCQ on your screen for 45 seconds. And after that 45 seconds, that question will disappear. You will see the next question. So you only have that 45 seconds to answer that question, and that question will not come back again for you to see. While what happens in the physical exam, we can turn the pages, we can come back to the question if we want to. We have some question we can spend little more time, some we can spend little less time. So that is totally in the hand of the student. So that is the duration of the examination is causing stress to the student. If we are at some level as a policy maker or as a part of the examination system, we should take care of those things. Imagine that you are offering just 45 seconds to attempt an MCQ question to a student, and while they don't have a chance to come back to it. So that is one factor. Another is some students clearly mentioned that teaching method adopted by teachers, that is they are not properly covering the material which actually should be covered. So that they reported is another cause of stress to them. Some online exam platform or internet connection, they were also reported to have a stress. So they are some factors which is in the hand of the system or the universities or the institution. But apart from this, there are some personal factors as well. Like you see that some student went back to the court that CBSE, our grades will influence. Students have a worry. They don't have trust in the system now. So they have a worry that our grades will be influenced. We will not be able to achieve the grades that we want to achieve in the online examination. Some students even don't worry about their performance, but they worry that some other student might cheat in the examination and it will affect their rank in the examination. So they are basically worried about the colleagues or friends' dishonesty apart from their own performance. So they are worried about others' factor as well. Plus, some students also reported that exam environment at home is not appropriate. So these were reported some important factors that create stress during the examination, online examination. So I try to fit it in both aspects, for the institution as well, for the personal factor as well. Now, even during this process of online examination, it has been seen that as compared to the physical examination, some behavioral changes also happen. It may be due to the stress, because they are having more stress, or it could be vice versa as well, because they are indulged in some practices which is not healthy at all. So that is causing a stress to them. Say, for example, it is reported in research that in online examination pattern, students have more or increased caffeine consumption. So it has been seen that they take more caffeine, they consume more caffeine as compared to the physical examination. During this online exam period, they consume more caffeine, they take more high energy drinks, they eat more fast food, smoking habits also increases. So there is an increase in that. So behavior also changes in the online exam period. Plus, as well as increase in these unhealthy behavior, there is a decrease in the healthy behavior as well. Say, for example, there is decrease in eating healthy food. So healthy food decrease, that consuming healthy food is decreasing. their sleeping hours are also affected. If some person is exercising or involved in sports or doing some physical workout to keep themselves physically and mentally fit, that also decreases in online examination. Time spent in family also decreases with online examination. So these are some behavioral changes that happen as a result. So now universities or institutions don't have a much role to play in these habits that you are developing as a result of the online examination. So we have to manage at our own level, self-control, and manage these things that is happening and causing more stress to us during online examination. So preventive measures like to counter these behavioral changes, preventive measures like we should consider organizing psychological and lifestyle workshop for the students now to stress control, give them nutritional education, awareness program, and highlighting the need for healthy environment. So that is in the institution hand now, because each student can't find a person to get in knowledge and information and awareness on these issues that I discussed previously. But institution can take an effort and role and help them students to deal with these behavioral changes. Sleep is also, that is a circadian cyclic process which has a key role in the students' health. So they should also get an adequate sleep as well. So awareness program, I would say at this stage needed. Yes.
The number of queries, okay.
If I'm about to finish it. So awareness program, I would say right now is needed to encourage students now to increase their physical activity during the stressful period, examination period, which in turn can improve the student sleep quality. It can reduce their stress. It can affect their student performance during the online examination. So that is what we can do as an institution. And plus, I would say finish with my concluding remark, and I would say that human beings are not moved by things, what is happening, whether it is online or offline. So we are not moved by the things, but by the view that we take of them. So how we take these online, or whether it is online or it is offline, how we take those examinations, that affects our mental health. So of course, this is a new system and we all are learning to implement this new exam process, and it will take time to accept this new system. There are several factors that influences, some technical and those things, but as a human factor, I will focus on there is a resistance to change as well as in our own thought process, mindset of the people. Lack of training is also there. So these are certain factors that influences our choices, influences our behavior and stress level. So when this online examination started earlier, we believed that online and offline exams are polar opposite to each other. So, but rather now we should now these both online and offline should be seen as complementary to each other rather than considering them polar opposite to each other, because I believe that both systems, online and offline, will now go hand in hand, even if we are opening up the universities in coming days or weeks or years. So both systems will now go hand in hand. We have to adapt to those systems, and with the motto of the World Congress of Psychologists, which is train yourself and train others. So you all have to, and we all have to train yourself. We all have to train ourselves, and with this online examination, and then train others for the same. So these are my concluding remarks. So that's how we'll be able to counter this particular challenge. So with these words, I end and hope that we'll be able to meet the motto of the World Congress of Psychologists. If anyone has any question or query or anything they want to ask, you are welcome to go ahead. Thank you for your patience listening, and thank you, audience.
Thank you, Dr. Dinesh Chabra, sir, for sharing the insightful information. Now I hand over the mic to Dr. B.G. Reddy, sir, to take over this session.
Yes, I think now I'm leaving the matter to the participants to the discussion part. Please, sir. Professor Krishnamurthy, sir?
I was waiting for others to
No, no
respond
problem.
in the beginning.
Problem, no problem.
Both the speakers have elaborately explained the need to change because the change is inevitable. That's one thing. So we are ill-equipped with the present system. We have problems. The earlier mode with which we were quite familiar will not be continuous now because of the pandemic situations that continues. Continues. So what we have to do is we have to focus our attention on more and more research work to accommodate these changes and effectively evaluate. So evaluation is very crucial in the field of education. Unless we evaluate properly, we cannot ascertain whether the individual has learned and he can make use of it. So in this regard, with the present situation, it is opening up challenges for us to conduct studies and then carry out certain trials or measures that can accommodate. So with this, I think I compliment both the speakers who have done excellently what is very necessary at the right moment. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, sir, Professor Krishnamurthy, sir.
Thank you.
Then in our midst, Professor Sudhakar Reddy, sir, is there.
So I'm extremely happy, sir, and I've heard a beautiful lecture today by Professor Rangai Garu and Professor Dinesh Chopra. And both of you have beautifully explained all the difficulties in online examination, particularly. But the most important difficulty, as you said, the practicals, in psychology practicals or in medical profession. I am in medical profession, I am a neurosurgeon. And since my undergraduate MBBS level, I used to hear about the PLAB exam and ESMLE exam to go to America. Even today, it is easy online exam to appear for the theory exam, the MCQs. And they are also conducting the clinical examination offline only. They are assessing them beautifully by offline only, the clinical examination part. But theoretical part, they are conducting online, the MCQs. I think now that is the best way, unless, as Dinesh Chopra has said, slowly we evolve to the new techniques to adopt for these practical exams also. I really don't know what is the best method. I once again ask Dinesh Chopra to enlighten us in this aspect. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir. As of now, whether some universities are taking this MCQ approach, or as our university is giving the open book examination, students are attempting sitting at their home and then uploading those scan sheets. Some universities, apart from the MCQ, are having online invigilation to the students. So that is like 8 students are sitting online and 1 invigilation is on them, and they are continuously monitoring you. They tell them to keep everything with you, like your water bottle, pen, pencils, everything. Keep it with you, and then you can't move anywhere and you can't talk to anyone. So those things are going on. So that I would say in this time is a more harsh approach or a rigid approach, because we should also acknowledge that the time that students are facing. So if teaching is happening online and we are expecting them to give the examination, which is totally as per the physical mode. Imagine that you are sitting and someone is observing you for continuously 3 hours and you can't move anywhere. So rather than to these system, I would say we should have to come forward with a continuous evaluation. So rather than just giving a total weightage to the examination, as we are seeing that some poor students are now securing more than 60%, because they are sitting and what is happening, whatever is being covered in the whole syllabus. So we ask them to write whatever question is coming in the examination, we are asking them to write at their home and then send it those sheets. So now what we have observed that students writes all of the syllabus that have been covered. So that sheets are written with them before the examination. So they leave 3-4 lines just before the answer to write down what is the language of the question is being asked in the question paper. So they just write the question, whatever is being asked in the question paper, that same language, and answer is already, they have written everything with them. So whatever question comes in the examination, so they write the question and upload those sheets. That we have also observed. So exam, it's a kind of rat race. Means if we find some ways to take an examination sincerely, student will find some other ways to break it or means find a way to cope with it. So for that matter, the only approach is to come with a continuous evaluation. So only these theory examination, written examination are just given weightage of 15 to 20%. Rest of the things should be others which are being continuously evaluated throughout the semester. So that is what the approach is being taken by the good universities at globally. So that's how the evaluation is going on, at least in this time. If something, there are 3-4 companies now which are providing online invigilation system. Means you need not, you give contract to those companies. So they have that tools and software. So even physical invigilator is not required. So their software is like that. That is, through that software, they are invigilating to the students. So that companies are also coming up in the market now to organize those examinations. So I can tell you the name of the companies as well. Like Top Hat 21, which is being used by like 400 institutions. Examity is the company, another company. Proctor Track is another company. Proctor U is another company. So these are also coming up now. But the best method, which I feel as of now, is the continuous evaluation throughout the semester, while just 15 to 20% weightage is being given to the theory examination. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah. Yes. Now, thank you, Sudhakar Reddy, sir. Then Dr. Janardhan Reddy, sir, is there from Ambedkar Open University, Hyderabad. Will you please, sir?
Hello. Hello.
Yes, you are audible, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, sir, you are audible, sir.
Right. Okay, thank you, Govind Reddy. First, I appreciate the both professors, senior professors, who have delivered a beautiful talk on the important subject. I do agree with both the professionals and professors, and also Professor Krishnamurthy. One thing is that it's a lack of preparedness. The students are not prepared to face the online examination as well as online classes. So they don't have necessary skills to use the electronic gadgets, their devices. That is one problem. And also, as Rangai has said, that attitudinal problem is also there. This naturally, when the people are not prepared for this type of new setup, naturally our stress and anxiety will be high because it is quite new. Anything new will cause some anxiety. And other thing is, as Professor Chhabra has said, and also Rangai Garu said, that conducting online classes and also online examination for psychology practicals, that is a more that causes much problem. So we psychology the project of conditions, we have psychology practical component, unlike other social science subjects or humanities. They don't have that practical component. It is easier for them to conduct online examination. But for psychology is concerned, because we have that practicum, we have more problems. Another thing is for physical science subjects and also biological science subjects, I think it's a bit easier for them because they use, for example, say chemistry. They use the chemicals. and the physics people, they use various instruments and like that. But so they may not have much problem, but you conduct our experiments on human beings. We deal with human beings. So we have to conduct our experiments in the examination hall and in the laboratory and human beings. And then there will be continuous interaction between the students. So conducting this examination and also classes during the pandemic situation, especially the corona or COVID, that will be a problem. We are also facing in the university how the classes have to be conducted and also examination has to be conducted for the students, as it is causing much problem. But anyhow, unless we unless we get prepared for this new mode of teaching and also conducting examination, we have to face this type of problems. I congratulate both the professors for their excellent presentation today. I thank you.
Right, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for your nice contribution. Now, in our midst, Professor T.D. Vimala, Madam is there. Madam. Vimala, Madam is not there. Then, anyone else from audience? Yes, Sanjeev Kumar. Your voice is not audible, Sanjeev Kumar. Hello.
Sir,
Yes.
is it okay now?
Yeah.
Is it okay now?
Yeah, it is okay.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Sir, it is audible. Sanjeev Kumar, you proceed.
Hello?
Hello.
Is it okay now? Is it audible now, sir?
Sanjeev
Yeah.
Kumar, you are audible. Please continue.
Hello?
Hello, Sanjeev Kumar.
Hello?
Sanjeev Kumar, you are audible.
Hello?
Hello, you are audible, sir.
Hello? Hello?
Right. Then we will proceed to just wind up this session.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Hello.
Ashok. Good evening,
Yeah, please,
Ashok.
Ashok. Yeah, please, Ashok.
Sir, sir, it is a very interesting topic about online learning and examinations. I would like to add our own aspects, sir. Actually, in 2007, 14 years back, we have been teaching to our engineering students through PowerPoint modes, almost using computers. So when the pandemic was declared, sir, there was no disturbance for our teaching method. We could easily switch over to the online teaching method. But only online examining proctoring method is very difficult for us also. But online teaching was very much successful in engineering, especially where there are no labs, no proper labs. Those experiments also we could get through the internet and we could share to the students, and thereby we have enriched our teaching method. Contrary to the discussion, life sciences teaching is difficult, sir. Interaction, all these things are different. They are difficult. But our teaching was very much different than the life science teaching. So we enjoyed and we quickly turned into the online mode. That was the advantage with our system. Thank you, sir. With this much addition, I would like to hand over to.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Ashok, for your nice contribution. Now,
Sir, right now my voice is audible.
Sir, your voice is audible. You proceed.
Okay, sir. So one of this online system is it has developed the time management in students, sir. Thank you, sir.
Right. So then, Sanjeev Kumar, are you audible?
Yes, sir, I'm audible.
Yeah, then I think there may not be any further discussion. Now, before going for just say propose vote of thanks. Now today, I just congratulate and just say thanks to two eminent speakers. One is Professor Rangaya from Pondicherry University and another youngest professor from Delhi University for their excellent talk on this topic today. I really there are no words to thank them, and in future also we would like to take the services of both Rangaya and both our youngest Professor Dinesh Chopra from Delhi University. I once again thank these excellent speakers today, and I thank the professors who are with us, who are involved in just contributing and they participated in actively in the just discussion. Professor A.R. Krishnamurthy, Professor Sudhakar Reddy, Professor Janardhan Reddy, then Ashok, Dr. Ashok, and others. Now, I request the Sanjeev Kumar, and here I may fail if I don't thank the coordinators, say Dr. Anupama and Dr. Sandhya and Dr. Sanjeev Kumar, right? And also the participants. Participants are most important. Everyone is important for the program, the grand success of the program. Everybody's contribution is worth acknowledging. Now, I request Dr. Sanjeev Kumar to say a brief note of vote of thanks, please.
Thank you, sir. I, Sanjeev Kumar Talari, on behalf of World Congress of Psychologists and the entire team, and on my own behalf, I extend a very hearty vote of thanks to all speakers for gracing your important work and sharing with us your findings and opinions today. Firstly, a big thank to you, sir, Professor Rangaya Garu, Department of Applied Psychology, Pondicherry University, for his efforts towards today's topic, online exams before and pandemic and during pandemic. Professor Rangaya added very important ideas in his speech today, and few are, he emphasized on the need of transformation towards technological advancements in education system. And second point, he added whole issues regarding online education or revolving around attitude of students. And finally, he presented a beautiful quote, which is very relevant to today's topic: change before the change changes you. So thank you once again, sir. I must mention my deep sense of appreciation for Dr. Dinesh Chopra, Assistant Professor, Delhi University, for his finest explanation of today's topic. And few ideas from his speech are different strategies to motivate the students and keep their interest towards online exam. And he also mentioned institutions' role in handling the behavioral changes of students. And he introduced a very new concept, very fresh concept, that is online invigilation. And that is very interesting, sir. Thank you once again. Finally, I would like to take this opportunity to convey my hearty thanks to Professor B.G. Reddy Garu and for his energetic organizing and presenting very precise introduction in the beginning. Thank you, sir. I also extend my thanks to Dr. Sandhya, Dr. Anupama for their enormous cooperation and supporting role in the organization of this event. Lastly, I extend my deepest thanks to Dr. Vimala, Dr. A.R. Krishnamurthy sir, Dr. Sudhakar Reddy sir, Dr. Janardhan Reddy sir, Dr. Ashok sir, and all the other participants for your valuable presence and valuable contribution. Wish you all a happy and productive time. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Good night.
Good night. Thank you to all. Thank you.
Good night, sir.
Good night. Good night.
Sir Govind Reddy, sir.